Namaskar and welcome to this very special video podcast of Sikkim Chronicle. Well, in this edition, we'll be talking something on startup entrepreneurship. Well, joining with me in the panel today is the CEO of Atal Incubation Center, Sikkim Manipal University Technology Business Incubator, Mr. Tej Chingtham. And also, ladies and gentlemen, in the panel is Mr. Swen, who in fact is the founder of Mainstage. It's an incubator from Germany, right? Okay, Mr. Tej, first and foremost, in a very simple way, can you explain us what exactly does incubation and incubator means?
Thank you very much, Mr. Nimmal. The first and foremost thing that I would like to elaborate here about incubation is it is a facilitator where we encourage young or very early stage startups to build their startup or build their business before it actually becomes a conventional business. So the chances of any startup being dead at a very early stage is very, very high. And in order to help them nurture and grow during this phase, an incubator is essential. And in an incubator like AIC SMUTBI here will technically help them to grow and scale their business. So that is what an incubator is supposed to do. So an incubator technically will guide them, mentor them in case there is networking required or funding is required, where to go to, what are the compliances required, legal requirements. All this is something that a startup, when you have an idea, you do not really understand where you should be going to. So under such circumstances, an incubator will be able to guide you as to where you should go to. So that is what an incubator's role is going to be. So in case of any of the startup that happens in and around the Northeast or in Sikkim, we as an Atal Incubation Center at SMUTBI, we are ready to help any startup that is growing in this region. So that is what.
Now that AIC SMUTBI has signed a memorandum with the Mainstage Incubator today, what does the memorandum say and how it will benefit the startup entrepreneurs of the state?
Okay. Well, to begin with, I'd like to thank Mr. Swen for coming all the way from Frankfurt for signing this MOU. The intention of this MOU is to ensure that any startup or products that you have in the Northeast region, including Sikkim, what we wanted to do is, in case you want to enter into the German market or into the European market, it is technically very difficult for us to work from here and send products there and even enter into the market easily. In order to reduce this hassle, what we have done is we have tied and signed an MOU with Mainstage Incubator, where Mr. Swen is the CEO and the founder of it. What we will technically do from here is we will divide the entire phase into two stages of landing. One is called a soft landing, which Swen would like to put it as virtual landing, and the second one is called the hard landing, where you will have a physical landing there. So the products will require a lot of compliances as per the German standards or the European standards, which needs to be certified before it enters into those respective markets. What we will do here is, by sitting here in Sikkim, we will be connecting to mentors into a virtual network. We will be sending some of the samples there. The product samples will go there. They will actually evaluate it into something around 10 mentoring hours of soft mentoring hours, where you will be guided as to how you should design your product in such a way that it is ready for the German market or the European market. Will be planned sitting here in Sikkim or in the northeastern region. Without going there itself. And the next phase is when we go for a hard landing, where you actually take the product. And Mr. Swen is going to support us with an office space there. He is also signed up with many of the government agencies, including the French government, as to how we should be able to take it forward to the French market and so on. So this is where the hard landing will take place. From there, his office will take it forward for the product, so that you don't have to really spend a lot of money. For instance, if you have to go for the GDPR compliances, which we have no idea, it'll cost a lot of money for you if you go to a lawyer to get all those agreements and compliances done before you enter into European market, which Mr. Swen will take care of it before we actually go there. So this is how we are planning up into the agreement.
Coming to you, Swen, I mean, you have already signed an MOU with the Kerala Incubator and now with the AIC SMUTBI. Why Sikkim, first and foremost? And second is like, how do you think this memorandum and this tying up would help the bilateral relationship between Germany and India when it comes to startup?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's an important topic you just mentioned, the bilateral relationship. So a couple of months ago, Mr. Shri Narendra Modi was in Delhi and had a meeting with Angela Merkel, and they were discussing on how to tighten the relationship between India and Germany. And it's not just the startups; it's on working together on an economical energy supply chain or supply management. I saw that and I thought, hey, there needs to be some way for us to collaborate on this and show that there's huge potential. Now you ask why Sikkim. The interesting part is I knew that a state called Sikkim existed. I knew that it's in the north. I never really knew more about it. But my co-founder, his name is Debashish, he told me about this beautiful, well-preserved state in India called Sikkim. There's a lot of organic products here, and that there's actually a startup incubator here, which is sat within the university, which is really powerful, right? A, because you have students here who are coming here to learn, but also to start their entrepreneurial journey. Secondly, organic products. I think the world has come to a point where people really want to eat healthy, just because all the pesticides in the products you get at the moment. So I saw potential on that front as well. When I came here today, I learned that it's not just about the organic vegetables you guys have here. There's so many other solutions which I think would match really well to the European market. There were a few non-technical startups, but I think in some perspective you could turn them into maybe part tech. So I'm very excited to working together with the AIC SMUTBI, with Mainstage Incubator as well. Together, I think we can help the startups here scale into Germany, maybe to France, maybe in Europe. I'm really looking forward for this partnership.
Absolutely. And during your presentation, you mentioned like you would rather like to call as an enabler. You had an interaction session with some of the startup entrepreneurs of this state. So tell us, like, how was the session and how would you help them enable more?
Yes, so yes, we had a session today earlier, and I asked the startups to kind of present what they have, but I wanted to see how they pitch. Now, what I've seen is, and this is not biased, it's not negative, it's just a cultural thing. I've seen that a lot of presentations here in India might work in India, but they won't work in Germany. So I kind of gave some coaching tips on where to improve, where to focus on, and help them do a good presentation in Germany.
Right, exactly. So, Mr. Tej, Incubation Center is doing so much for the startup entrepreneurs, but still there are challenges lying ahead. What are the possible, challenges which you are facing right now?
As of today, the problems that we are facing here includes a little bit of awareness is still lacking behind, and maybe we can work on this a little more. Awareness where to get fund from. The basic idea that most of the startup that we have here or in the business here, they feel that the only source of funding is through the bank, which is not correct. There are many investors waiting to invest. And in fact, if I have to tell you honestly, there was an investors meet where there were 150 investors and there were about 7 or 8 only startups talking to them. So there are a lot of people who are interested into funding. And please remember that the bank is not the only solutions where you should go to when you have a very good idea. There are a lot of places where the funds can come from. That's one. Number two, a little bit of awareness as to how we should make our presence felt. Our brand should go globally, not within the state alone. It should start going out of the state, and we should start selling our product beyond the state of Sikkim or beyond the Northeast, so that we have a lot of potential. We have lots of products which has got lots of potential which can go out and beyond. But unfortunately, because of the lack of awareness, the product has been confined within the state of Sikkim or within the Northeast. So I think these are a few areas where we can really sensitize and improve upon, and maybe we can take this forward further.
Right. So what difference did you find in the startup in Germany and in India, basically?
I think there are a lot of differences. I think it's the pace, I would say. I think the pace in Germany is a bit faster. And like I said, this is my observation. I'm not an expert to say this is the way it is, but it's my observation. I think the pace is a bit faster in Germany. Things are moving fast. I've seen that A lot of these startups, they cater towards the big corporates, and that's the ideal goal, right? In India, I saw it's I don't want to call it slow, but it's not as fast as in Germany, but I see a lot of potential, and this is why I came here. I think that India has not been tapped into that deeply, especially into the startup ecosystem. Now I can see like Kerala Startup Mission, they did the huddle 2 months ago, and they had international investors there as well. They have startups presenting themselves in an exhibition booth. So I think now the world slowly is getting to know that, hey, India is not just a country which has BPOs and outsourcing units or call centers or the IT, extended IT centers of the big European corporates. There's also this startup ecosystem reflecting towards the world, showing that, hey, we are an innovative nation, and I think that's also Mr. Narendra Modi's goal, to show that we are a nation capable of doing more than previously thought of.
All right, Tej, as we wind up this brief conversation, what is the message to the startup entrepreneurs, basically, when it comes to the signing of this memorandum with Mainstage?
Yes, I would like to request all the startups and entrepreneurs here in Sikkim, if you have a product which is worth taking it forward from beyond Sikkim, either you can come to us, Mr. Swen is here, you can connect to him directly. We would also be very glad to help you to take it forward, and maybe you should also look at ensuring that your products do not confine to the state of Sikkim. It should start going beyond the boundaries of Sikkim. So that is all I would like to tell. In case there's anything that you would like us to help you, please get back to us, and we'll be more than happy to connect you to Swen and to the European market through him. Yeah.
Swen, your message to the entrepreneurs of Sikkim, and also how can they get in touch with you?
So my message to the entrepreneurs in Sikkim, and we had a quite young team of entrepreneurs here who pitched or asked for feedback about their idea, and my advice is, think through it before you start your entrepreneurial journey, because it's hard. But if you are willing to take the risk and willing to take even the financial risk, you strongly believe in your product, then go ahead. You have support here in Sikkim, which is here at AIC SMUTBI. We are happy to help as well. And if you have a good idea, go meet Dr. Tej, and he'll be more than happy to help you with your journey.
Absolutely. So it could be termed as a new milestone as far as helping and enabling the startup entrepreneurs of state of Sikkim with this signing of MOU. And please do contact Mr. Tej Chingtham here at AIC SMUTBI. This is the incubation center here at SMIT, at SMU in Majitar. And you can come and anytime put forth your queries, right? Yes. Yes. So thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us with this brief conversation and bringing more clarity on this memorandum and incubation. Thank you so much. So with my friend Nitesh R. Pradhan, this is Nirmal saying goodbye for Sikkim Chronicle. Thanks for watching.